Trigger warning! Trigger warning! Black accountability will be expected by the end of this video. I've come to the realization that the core belief of the Hebrew Israelites is based on a lie. And if the core belief of their belief system is based on a lie, it destroys the whole belief system. I'm not sure they understand that this is their core belief, but after debating with them back and forth, either in person, on a live, on YouTube, in the comments, I've made the observation this is their core belief system. You see, the Hebrew Israelites are obsessed with the curses in Deuteronomy. I don't think I've seen a group of people so obsessed with curses. They clearly think the transatlantic slave trade is a fulfillment to some of the curses in Deuteronomy. But their core belief to why they think they are the group of people called the Israelites and they fit the curses in Deuteronomy is they think they are oppressed in America today. You see, if black people are not oppressed in America today, the core belief system of the Hebrew Israelites comes to a halt. In order for us to fulfill the curses in Deuteronomy, we have to be oppressed where we're at. Here's the problem with that. White people in America fought a war against each other to end slavery. That is not in accordance with the Deuteronomy curses. 100 years later, they ended systemic racism, systemic oppression when they ended the Jim Crow laws. That is not in accordance with the Deuteronomy curses. Then they put in affirmative action, forcing companies to hire a certain percentage of us, colleges and universities offering grants and loans just for black people. The United States government sets aside grants and loans just for black people. This is not in accordance with the Deuteronomy curses. Of course, if you watch liberal news media like CNN that race baits and fear mongers, you're gonna think, as a black person, you're still oppressed. No matter how free we are, forget the fact that we had a black president. How are you oppressed in a country you became the president of? Entrepreneurs, millionaires, billionaires, doctors, politicians. I mean, whatever you want to be. We see all the pictures of all the black graduates from the HBCUs, they're engineers and doctors and lawyers. I mean, everywhere you turn around, black success is everywhere. I mean, we gotta be the freest, most successful group of oppressed people I've ever seen in my life. And this is the problem. Hebrew Israelites are oppressed in their mind. To all my strong-minded black men out there, what up, dog? How you doing? Respect. I salute you. To all you weak-minded black men out there, do better. Step your game up. Stop blaming racism, oppression, and white people for why you can't do no better than you're doing. Some of y'all really just need to realize you're doing great. Black people are not oppressed in America, which means we don't fit the Deuteronomy curses, and we are not the Hebrew Israelites. God bless y'all. Christ is King.
All right, shalom. All praise to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Shalom to the hopefully elect. All right, and this I'm gonna do another installment. I'm gonna go back in on this guy right here. This agent for Esau. All right, this video is gonna be entitled "Agent for Esau Destroyed" by Daniel, chapter 9 and verse 12. I believe it is 9 and 12. Anyway, I did one video against this dude yesterday. Another of the series. The last one was Agents Don't Understand Bible Prophecy. All right, hashtag Holy Land. And last week I did a video response debunking Hebrew Israelites. The curses were fulfilled in the Old Testament. Right, and then back weeks ago, I did other lessons on them, just highlighting these just so you can, if this is the first video you see, you can go back and find these others. I did one here. Then shall many be offended. He was, I actually responded to something that he said in that as well. Then I did another video on him. The first video I did on this guy. Oh no, the second video, response, biblical proof the Israelites returned to Israel in 1948. And then the first video, Hebrew Israelites come on back to Jesus. As you can see, this dude is adamant, and he's obviously an agent that was set up to try to pick apart the ministry, which is good that you make these videos, you idiot. And I'm just going through them. Now, I didn't do response to his one. He talked about the virgin birth, you know, because, I mean, we've done many videos on that. So now he's on this thing with, you know, talking about black accountability. He's going on and on about we don't fit the curses because look at all the black millionaires, and whites went into a war with each other to stop slavery. Well, why do they need to do that? Because we were in slavery. And on top of that, if you really understand what happened with the Civil War, it wasn't, you know, just to free us from slavery, okay? And what it actually did was it divided us, and we went out of slavery, but a lot of so-called blacks went up north to do what? Start working in factories and all of that, you see? So it's a lot going on behind the scenes, but I ain't gonna get into that. I'm talking about behind the scenes of that whole thing with, you know, abolition, the abolition of slavery and all of that. And on top of that, he says they signed affirmative action and done all this. Well, why do they need to do that? Tell me that. Why do they need to come up with something called affirmative action and the DEI? Because we were being oppressed, you idiot, right? And then, and by the same merit, you talk about us as far as look at all the black millionaires and the this and the that and the, you know, the celebrities and all that. Well, guess what? Who are they bosses behind the scenes? Jewish people. And I'm gonna say it like I said in the video yesterday. They run the diamond industry, okay? They run sports and TV media, you know, TV and media. They run Hollywood, all of that. They run all that. All three of the major leagues, NBA, MLB, and NFL, as well as the minor league stuff, all that's Jewish ran and owned. You can't get out of it. You're trying to put it on us, but what about them? And the scriptures tell us emphatically, Deuteronomy, well, we'll get to Daniel momentarily, but see, this dude just can't stay out of his own way. He talking about the curses. Well, if we don't fit the curses, you know they don't. So I don't know what the hell this guy, he's running around in circles, chasing his own tail, okay? Let's see. And all the banks. We talked about that, right? Let's see. Not land. Deuteronomy 28, verse 48. I didn't know exactly where it was. I want to save time. So listen again. Deuteronomy 28, 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. And he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. So I'm going to ask you again, because I know you ain't going to never answer this. You going on and on about the black millionaires, but guess who the billionaires are? Jewish people and other white people. And they're the same people, really, Edomites. You see, if you can find black millionaires, you know there are way more. You can't find any black trillionaires. And you got a couple of black billionaires, but why? And that money, because they serve their masters. They're underneath those Jewish authorities, okay? They're underneath them. It's obvious who rules the world. The international bankers, who are Jewish, by the way, okay? You can't get around it. If we ain't under the curses, you know they ain't under them. But we are under the curses because we still work for them. And that doesn't mean anything because you said we had a black president. Daniel was a president in the book of Daniel. Joseph was raised up in Pharaoh's house. That always happened. The scriptures tell you that the Most High said he was going to cause our enemies to treat us well. Let's go there. Let's go there. Because this guy didn't know the Bible too good to entreat thee well. Salakia. Entreat thee well. I believe that's how you spell it. This is Jeremiah 15 and verse 11. It says, the Lord said, verily it shall be well with thy remnant. Verily I will cause the enemy to entreat thee well in the time of evil and in the time of affliction. Now the time of affliction is yet to come, the real affliction, Jacob's trouble, the end time portion, but we've been in affliction since we've been over here. And when you go into the stories in the Bible, the Most High's servants were often passed over, right? And the Most High gave them favor in their master's house. That doesn't mean anything because you got black billionaires. What the hell we gonna do? Jacob is the lot of his inheritance, and we're the form of all things. We're the salt of the earth. So of course that's gonna translate to talent and success in captivity. That's all scriptural, man. And again, I'm asking you again, if you saying that we ain't under the curses because of finance, well, who do we have to get money from? And by the way, If we utter a word, them black billionaires like Kanye West, what happened to Kanye? He talked shit against Jewish people, and what did they do? They took away a lot of his money, blacklisted him. Who can blacklist you from society for speaking against them? That ain't in the scripture that the Israelites gonna be so powerful that if anybody dare utter a word to them, right, in the first earth age, they're gonna lose part of their wealth. No, man. Nope. Not gonna work. And you're gonna get you being destroyed by this truth. Let's go into it now. Daniel chapter 9, verse 11. It says, yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of the Most High, because we have sinned against him. Here's a cut. And that's a cut. But here's the big one. And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. Listen, for under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem. So the worst thing that ever happened to any people happened to the Israelites. Where can we look in history and find the worst thing that's happened to any people? Right? You said many nations went into captivity. That's true. Many nations suffered murder and different things. That is true. But what's the worst one of all? Who lost the most people? Who got displaced from their land? Who is still on the bottom to this very day? And if you go per person for person, we have less wealth than every Jewish person, every so-called white person. You see, even the other nations are above us. We don't have anything that we own. We don't own no liquor stores. I'm talking about on a grand scale. We don't own no prisons. Who fills up the prisons more than any people? You mean to tell me that so-called Negroes do more crimes than everyone else? Who do you see getting shot down in the streets still? Show me anywhere where you saw a cop killing and a Jewish man got shot up by a cop for walking through a neighborhood. When you seen that? You haven't seen it. And you can't get around it. Under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem. The transatlantic slave trade, and also the devastation of the Indies, right? And all the things they did to the Native Americans over here, you know, all them different massacres. If you add all that up together, that is upwards of over 200 million people. And that's the nice figure. You can't get around that. But if you just look at the transatlantic slave trade alone, it is the single most diabolical, right? It was on some what's it called? Damn it. I don't have the word right now. Oh, genocidal. It's been one of the most genocidal things that have happened to any people, and the subsequent captivity after it. You can't measure that to anything. There's no people that went through worse things in the transatlantic slave trade and what happened after it, combined with all the things that happened to the so-called Native Americans. If you add it all together, they said over 100 million Negroes died during the slave trade, and over 80 million Native Americans died during the conquering of this land by the so-called white settlers who were Edomites. I wish he understood the scriptures, which I really don't, because I don't give a shit. Again, he hath confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem. The worst thing that happened to any people, nothing worse than that has ever happened. And we can also read that in the book of Baruch too. I believe it is. Let's go there, see if we can find that real quick. And all the other scriptures that we brought out before, that we talked about in the previous videos. This dude ain't on no level, man. This is just bear with me here. Let's go to Baruch chapter 2. You can read it, start at verse 1 and 19, but let's go right to 2. Come on, baby. They didn't want to give it to me, but I get it right here. All right, there we go. Baruch chapter 2 and verse 1. This is a precept. It says, therefore the Lord hath made good his word, which he pronounced against us and against our judges that judged Israel, and against our kings and against our princes and against the men of Israel and Judah, to bring upon us great plagues, listen, such as never happened under the whole heaven, as it came to pass in Jerusalem, according to the things that were written in the law of Moses, that a man should eat the flesh of his own son and the flesh of his own daughter. Moreover, he hath delivered them to be in subjection to all the kingdoms that are round about us, to be a reproach and a desolation among all the people round about, where the Lord hath scattered them. And just going back to verse 2, to bring upon us great plagues such as never happened under the whole heaven, as it came to pass in Jerusalem, according to the things that were written in the law of Moses. Where it in the law of Moses? Deuteronomy 28 and 15 on down. Okay. And let's also get, it's somewhere in Baruch. I don't know where it is. As a matter of fact, us being in this country and having to pay bills, because that wasn't ever saw for the Israelites. Okay. I don't know where it is. I just want to get 2 more quick scriptures. Let's see. And I don't have it. Not on this one. I don't know where it said it. Maybe in Baruch 5. Or you know what? Now I'm thinking it's 3. Let's see if I got it. 3 and maybe 28. Nope. Verse 8. Baruch 3 and 8. It says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power. Just because right now we, in certain Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that have become celebrities in this society, guess who their masters are? Guess who can take their money at the drop of a dime? And you've seen it happen many times. Look what's going on currently in the news with Sean Combs. Now, that dude is wicked, don't get me wrong, but who does he work for? He was a billionaire, and what happened to him? He opened his mouth against that liquor company, and they took away all his wealth and put a scandal on him. Well, they didn't take away all his money, but they put a scandal on him. What happened with Kyrie Irving? What did he have to do? See, anytime. What happened with Nick Cannon? What happened with Kanye West? All the same thing happens to these guys. They open their mouth against the Jewish people. Then the powers that be, which are ruled by Jewish people, or the powers that be who are international bankers, the Jewish media, and all of that, what happens? They come against you and they take away all your wealth. Show me that in the scriptures where you're going to be above all nations. And if anybody dare speak against you, you're going to take away all their wealth. It's not in there, and you have nothing. And the more videos you make, I'm going to stay on your ass, and I'm going to bring out more scriptures and more facts. And notice in this video, he didn't bring out no scriptures, because you're getting weak, and you weak. All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.